This is Warriors Anonymous.
All right, it's the grand final edition. Welcome along to Warriors Anonymous. My name is Jared Cronin. We have allegedly saved the funniest episode for last in 2023. We'll see how that goes. First of all, let's bring in a man who's been missing for a little while. We haven't seen his face. And he's back with another couple of faces behind him as well. Bro, Isaac, how are you, bro? How was the trip to Japan?
How'd you know I would have been to Japan after seeing these things? Only in Japan. It was good.
First of all, what are those things?
Well, this is a character called Hangudon, who's from the...
Bring him forward.
Oh, bring
Anyway.
Hangudon. Hangudon!
Oh,
So basically, he's a character from like the Hello Kitty family. And he's just basically a depressed-looking fish.
right.
Yeah, that's his purpose.
Is he a West
But he-
Tigers fan?
Yeah, he's a West. He's oh so cute.
Oh,
He's the logo for the Dolphins if they were playing in Japan. Basically, they'd look like that. all cute, kawaii, desu. So yeah.
man. So what did you get up to over there?
Oh, mate, it was so busy. I put on like 4 kgs because I ate and drank too much.
Good.
So that was good value.
I did as well,
Yeah.
but I was just at home, so carry on.
Thanks,
That's newborn. That's baby weight.
It doesn't count.
That's
It's a
called
write-off.
baby weight, G.
Write it off.
Yeah, the daddy weight. We're just basically meeting a lot of Masaki's family, introducing myself, them introducing themselves to me, meeting her dad, and them forcing me to get pissed with them as an initiation, which I passed, I think. So,
Great.
yeah,
Awesome.
it was an awesome trip.
Yeah.
Except it was 30-odd degrees every single day, and I sweated myself through millions of pairs of undies. So, yeah.
And you still put on weight.
And I still put on weight. That tells you the magnitude of the food and drink that I consumed. Yeah.
Good man. Good boy.
Oh, bro. Welcome back. It's good to see you for the final fling of 2023. Speaking of putting on weight, Moneta has taken a novel approach. And he's been eating something very interesting just before the podcast, bro. What's your rundown?
Well, I don't think it's anywhere near the fine cuisine that Isaac had in Japan. But, you know, we do like online shopping and sometimes Countdown frozen a few freebies. And what's that rustling noise?
Is that chips there, saucy?
It was so loud.
Misaki. She's eating peanut butter cookies. Stop it.
Oh, peanut butter
But,
cookies.
so basically, it's just chicken in a can.
They can.
Yeah, chicken in a can. So
Go on, Isaac.
Are you sure you didn't mix it up with Buddy's cat food? You know?
no,
Cats prefer chef. Meow.
it was actually okay. I had it with a rice cake, but yeah, no, I don't think I'll have it. I wouldn't.
Did it have any sort of flavoring or
I had like slight mayonnaise.
mayonnaise?
Yeah, I know, in a can. But yeah, no, I wouldn't eat it. Hey, you got your protein intake.
Huh?
But,
Did you have a bowl of water on the side too, like a cat? Like,
No. I had my little sweet tea.
Was Buddy looking at you like, hey, what are you doing with my food?
hey,
Hannah was looking at me going, So that pretty much, yeah.
Bit of salt and pepper, should be fine.
Yeah.
Daniel Wharakura, bro, what have you been eating lately?
Well, not canned chicken, but I have been putting on excessive weight, and I haven't left the country. That's all. And I don't have a baby. So, just been consuming life. And actually, to be honest, I'm a little bit sad. Season's over. You know?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I'm going to do that picture of the guy sitting on the swing chair, just looking. What do we do now?
El
You know?
Chapo.
I'm going to do...
You're like Keanu Reeves, who's just eating by himself most of the time, eh? You see those memes of him? He just looks so lonely.
Isaac, maybe send one of those fish to Buddha.
Yeah, no NRL. So I'm back on the All Blacks bandwagon.
Oh, wow.
We'll see how that
Desperate
goes.
times, desperate measures.
We'll see how that goes.
Not even a bit of test match footy to just keep you largely...
Yeah. We'll occupy the days, until pre-season starts again.
Yeah,
Sure, you don't want to
indeed.
get on the Renfrewley Shield bandwagon, maybe?
What?
Oh, no, we accidentally dropped it while we were high.
Yeah, no, go,
Yeah. Shocker. So,
Yeah.
been a few shocking things, hasn't there?
Yeah,
Indeed.
it has.
Speaking of substance abuse, the good man himself, Roger, the incorruptible Tui Vasashek, he's got himself into a little bit of a situation. A bit of a DUI offence. I saw he was recording something like about 430 milligrams per whatever of blood, and the limit is like 250. So, it's a bit over. I don't know, how those things work in terms of, athletes if they have half a beer and it's like straight away or whatnot. But Moneta, you've been keeping close tabs on the situation, the Roger situation, and you've actually got some positives to draw from what's gone down.
Yeah, I mean, he was over the limit. So he did have a few drinks. Then he went to his mate's house and he had a few orders, and then he thought he was okay. Like, it was around 7 o'clock, so he decided to drive back home. And that's when he kind of, understated the fact that, he was actually probably more drunk than he thought he was. But I think the good thing, though, he wasn't seeking any name suppression. He wanted to take the full brunt of any punishment that came his way, and he wasn't hiding from it. I think you see a lot of sports stars usually kind of like try to get name suppression and stuff like that, as we've heard in the past, but he kind of fully owned up to it. And, a squeaky clean man. He made a mistake, and I'm pretty sure he won't do that again. But I think that just shows that he's willing to take full accountability, and it sucks. But that's a good thing now he won't be doing that again. So I still think he's the man, though. And it's good to see him back in the Maroons. But he'll definitely be the type to learn, and just judging by his actions, he's taken full accountability.
It's a real shame that rugby has made him, kind of driven him to drinking.
Corrupted him.
Corrupted him.
Yeah,
It's been so boring that he's kind of like, I'm only kidding. It's look, don't do it, kids. We all know, look, he's made a mistake. And actually, maybe that he can atone for his sins in the next season. He'll just work that a little bit extra as well in pre-season. He's an absolute professional. We know that. But there may be something around the fact that he's he's obviously associated with the Warriors. And he's got a massive following. So, he'll feel that, and he'll want to make amends. And the one way he can make amends is win the grand final.
Yeah, that's
He's
right.
the kind of guy that would use that as fuel to motivate himself as well. I imagine he would have letting people down is not what he likes to do, so he'd be really feeling it.
Yeah.
So I think he'll use that as fuel to the fire. And it's in stark contrast to the Hawke's Bay rugby player that drove into someone's house. Name suppression at the moment. So Munir brings up a good point that he didn't want to hide or shirk his responsibilities. And I think, as sad as a story as it is, it's a lesson for other sports people that, they have a responsibility and they need to take it on the chin when they make mistakes.
He could have had name suppression, and then, names have been floated about a Warriors player or Auckland player, same
true.
Player. So he's taken it and he's learned his lesson. I think that speaks to himself. It speaks about the character.
You might as well lean into it, because we're going to find out anyway, even if you have name suppression, and especially when you've got a profile like Rogers, which is massive. So, yeah.
Just get an Uber, bro.
That's right. Get over there.
For those people, don't drink and drive. Don't drink and drive.
That's right. Where was this boy to just come and grab him and give him a lift home? Anyways, now quite a bit to cover actually in this final episode. just today, the international teams were all named. So mentioned before that there's a bit of international footy coming up in the rugby league sense. The Kiwis team has been named. Charnze Nicoll-Klokstad is in the Kiwis, and Adam Whenua-Blake is in Tonga. So it's a pretty strong-looking Tongan team as well. But what do you make of, I guess, just how the players are managing, what they commit to on top of what's already been a really long season?
Yeah, I think each player has to make that call, where they are, what their loads have been like for the season, what sort of energy levels they have available as well. So I think the players, obviously, who have been selected have, made that commitment. They feel like they have enough energy left to provide as well. So good on them. And I guess the other players like a Shawnee, for example, ruling himself out as well. There's players that with minor injuries. I noticed Cheese wasn't named either as well. So, it must be players that go, right, they have reasons to just focus on another NRL season as well. And for SJ, for example, I think it's welcome news for most of us Warriors fans. He's signed for another season. Potentially another one after that. Hey, look, who knows? But in order for him to have another great season like he did this year, he needs that preseason as well. So I don't mind that, and it gives opportunities for other players as well. So the squad's quite wide and deep, actually. So I'm all for those guys who are managing their own minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Sean Johnson. Isaac, I don't know if you might have caught up with the Dally M Awards from last week at all.
Okay,
you have?
caught up with it.
Okay, all right. So, poor old Sean missed out on getting the top award by 1 point. We'll start with you, Isaac. Just plainly, was he robbed?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Plain and simple. All the way from Japan. I was like, what? You're be kidding me. Are you serious? He was the most valuable player in the league for the duration of the season. I mean, Ponga, no fault of his. He had a good run himself as well. He was integral to that Newcastle Knights team going as far as they did in the finals. But SJ, if you asked any player if they had to choose between Ponga and SJ in their team, for this year, you'd pick SJ 9 times out of 10. And I don't know the exact math around, was it the last round and Ponga getting 6 points to hurdle SJ for the Dally M, but there's got to be a fucking investigation.
It reminded me of the whole Taylor Swift and Kanye West scenario.
Floating around there, it's awesome.
Jazz was, Jazz. He made that comment on Twitter. He was Kanye West, and Ponga was, Taylor Swift.
Tay.
Beyonce. Is, Sean Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, Jazz really didn't mince his words. He just said it straight up. He was like, you know what, that ain't all right. But I'm gonna throw in a counter argument there. Because I thought I could actually kind of see this coming. From those later rounds, as time was going by, I was like, I don't know if he's going to have enough in the bank here to hold off Ponga, knowing he's going to be getting sixes all the time. He's like bloody Garfield Sobers out there hitting sixes. What are your thoughts on, how they run the Dally M itself? Per game, points per game, rather than across the whole season. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think the realisation is that, because obviously I've had the most interest in this situation with Shawnee obviously being many people's favourite, but a couple of factors at play. First and foremost, Ponga was literally, as Willie Mason said, the shittest spine in the comp, but with him there at the helm, he was single-handedly winning games for them. And he was like a highlights reel in his own. And look, that's great. Depends what you define best player in the league, most influential in getting a game result versus kind of also doing that, but doing it at high speed, high tempo, flashy, brilliant stuff as well, which Shawnee had a combination of that, but Ponga obviously had that run. And then you also go back to a good solid team that shared points. So, part of the reason why Shawnee just couldn't get enough points towards the end is that you had amazing efforts from Adam Whenua-Blake, Tohu Harris was in there, Challenge was in there, so those guys were taking away from Shawnee's points. So I guess you've got those two arguments. To lose by 1 point is a bit rough. You could have made an argument there was another 2 or 3 points out on the table somewhere throughout because, the way he played. But, yeah, I mean, look, to be honest, it's probably Dally M is probably not viewed, I don't think, as the prestige player of the game, because if that's the case, Nathan Cleary clearly showed that, he's the premier player of the competition as well. But it's just disappointing to kind of not ice the season that the Warriors have had without getting, the top one. But look, he obviously got the halfback of the year role, which I think is obviously not scores based; it's more opinion based. So that comes into Isaac's argument around everyone knows he's the best kind of, let's say, had the best game management season as well, and he was rewarded in that fact. And then to top it off, he got RLPA's Player of the Year as well. So actually, the Players' Player of the Year, which probably for most players is the one that you want.
Voted by his peers.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Monita, we picked up a bit of silverware, and that is to our wonderful coach, Andrew Webster. How happy were you to see Webby, get up there and just give an absolute beauty of a speech?
Oh, it just typifies he's just the man, he's just a likable guy, when you see him give that speech, and just when he mentioned about, you can almost see him slightly choke up a bit when he mentioned about how he loves the guys, and you could just tell he actually meant that, and so, and it went back to his team, like they had like Adam Fanua-Blake and Sean Johnson and DWZ, and you could just tell the camaraderie between them, and it's just, you just know there's something special between the coach and the players. So, he's done fantastic, Webster, and I'm not quite sure how his contract's going, but in terms of extending, but he's definitely going to have a longer contract, and I'm so happy for him. I mean, you hear about the stories of how he was grafting through in his younger days, and he didn't care. He would coach the Parramatta, I think, under 20s for free, and still work a side job, and he didn't care because he loved coaching so much. And look where he is now. He's like one of the best. So the man, and
Absolutely
should be Prime Minister.
Genuine. He's genuine, isn't he? He's just 100% a people person first. And how he's got a good footy brain on him as well. So
some great banter. He's got some awesome banter too. Like he was obviously throwing Rocco under the bus for his carry on. So clearly, Rocco Berry loves to carry on as well after dotting down, scoring tries. So I just love that kind of little bit of banter just on on the big stage.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a few guys in the team of the year as well. Of course, Dallin was one of the wingers. Sean, halfback. Adam Fanua-Blake, prop. Isaac, I felt maybe a little bit unlucky for Wade Egan at hooker. What was your thoughts on that? I know in a team where you've got a whole lot of guys stealing points off each other, it's hard, but still, how did you see that one?
Yeah, I thought Wade Egan got a little bit hard done by, unsung hero for the team, and just an underrated player overall in the NRL. And he had a whale of a season. I mean, he had a season for the ages, if we're being honest. I mean, he had the problem of playing in a team that had so many other people that had career years, maybe that cast a little bit of a shadow on his play. But yeah, I thought that was a little bit unfair. If you're going to look at the season in its entirety and the performance of a hooker, and the consistency and the influence he has on the game, Wade Egan was that guy across the whole league. So, I
feel like this. Sorry, I was going to say, I feel like they just, just jumped on Harry Grant because they know he's got the attributes, and they know, he's a Kangaroos, test hooker as well. But I don't think Harry Grant had a great end to the season. He got quite frantic as well, where in the reverse, Wade was, instrumental in, a lot of our play. So it is a bit hard done by.
absolutely. Now, on to the big game of the year that we didn't quite make it to. The grand final of 2023 was a classic. Now, first question is from Moneta. Up to what point did you stay awake?
No. It's sort of like it built up, and I was like, "Oh my god, my eyes are starting to." I'm having a real problem staying awake now past 10 o'clock, which is a good thing because I typically get about 5 to 7 hours sleep, so I'm trying to maximize it. But yes, I saw the highlights, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that was yes." The crowd looked electric. So I will pass this on to Daniel to explain more.
What a game. What an absolute game. I mean, it has been touted as, well, up there with one of the best, the greatest grand finals. But, I mean, it had it all, really. But what, for me, I really loved it was a clash of two different styles. And I was, two different fighters, different styles. And I was really intrigued to see who would win because from a Warriors interest factor, we play similar to the Panthers. High completion, well structured. We get our back five moving, our forwards do a lot of defending, we're smart with our play, and the Broncos play that kind of up tempo, offload, break the door down, give it out to their speed men, and anything can happen. So just seeing those clash of styles was amazing, and look, we all must admit 20 minutes to go, 24 minutes to go, we thought, wow, Ezra Mam could be one of the greatest Clive Churchill performances ever as well, with three just individual brilliant tries. And, Nathan Cleary said, hold my beer. It's my turn, which was just phenomenal as well. So, look, yeah, one of the best games of footy I've ever seen. And I think fitting to cap the season off. It's just been an amazing season and, rubber stamp by just an epic grand final.
I've got to say, I really hate when you have joint winners for an award. But in this case, I'd kind of make an exception, and I was like, oh, bro, that guy's so unlucky, Ezra Mam. But, Nathan he came through. And he came through at the right time, because I got to tell you, I was copping a little bit of heat where I was watching the game. Because I've always been quite vocal around those around me saying, how highly I think of Nathan Cleary and all of this. And, putting him right up there with the best ever. And, yeah, at 18 points down or whatever it was, I was sitting there and I was copping some grief and, oh, yeah, I thought he was supposed to be really good in that. And then, boy, for the next 20 minutes, I just kind of sat back going, oh, my boy came through. Thank you.
Pass me my soda. That's what
That's right.
There's a new word that is in the dictionary, put in the dictionary today or this week, goated. When a goat does goat things, he goated it.
Goated it.
So,
okay.
Which it's too early to call him the goat, but he definitely goated it.
Yeah.
On Sunday night. So I think what we had is in that spell, we obviously had the first try set up for Leota. Then we had the 40-20 as well, which actually didn't lead to a point scoring opportunity, but look, tackle 2, tackle 3.
Momentum.
Yeah, momentum. And then we had obviously we had the dropout catch for the line by.
How good was that play? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and a great challenge actually. Like it was fucking close.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
And then
he took it quite casually. Yeah, he just was like. Boop.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And then obviously went out wide, set up Crichton, and then obviously the match-winning play at the end. I mean, wow, wowee. And the only criticism I think most fans have is he needs to do that in Origin. And then I think he becomes, I think he's going to be one of the best players ever, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. But
yeah,
he
just needs to do that to put all the chat to bed, right? I mean, yeah. So otherwise, people just hold that against him. Oh, he hasn't done an Origin. It's like, well, he might have a real coach next year, maybe.
But how good was the forwards battle, man? Oh, Payne Haas. I mean, in a losing side. I mean, that's why he's been Dalian prop 5 years in a row. I mean, he is an absolute freak, eh?
Oh, yeah. And Moses Leota. Oi, oi, oi.
Oh, Carrigan.
It's like he was shot out of a cannon, bro. He was like, oof. And then, Carrigan. Oh, I've never seen him get bumped like that. But
But I think we did say, well, we did talk about it last week. I knew they had the style to kind of mix it up with them and had Penrith on the ropes, but actually just were loose and wasteful as well. And I don't want to sort of, criticise Reece Walsh. I mean, attacking prowess. As soon as he got half a yard, I mean, it was beautiful. But, as Warriors fans, we saw that stuff. But what did we also see? Defensive frailties.
Yes.
Lack of ability to shut down a try scoring opportunity at the back. And look, I mean, I don't think you can argue at the end because it was like 78 minutes and it would have been a highly frantic game. But they, to their credit, I mean, I listened to something the other day through a bloke on a bar. At a bar.
At a bar?
They talked about how Cleary kept going inside a lot. They keep going inside, and you kind of start thinking, "Fuck, why are you doing that?" Like, what? You understand why they're doing that. Really gassed the middle. So in the last 5 minutes, when the game was on the line, the middle was cooked, and they obviously didn't come across, and then Reece didn't. So, they'll be hurting, eh? I don't want to say fuck you, Greg Dyer, because I think they'll be hurting.
You can say it.
But man,
you said it in such a caring manner.
I actually felt for the Broncos. Like first time ever. The fact that they pretty much had it, eh?
Yeah,
they had it.
Yeah, you couldn't help but put yourself in their shoes. It's like, you were that fan. How would you feel?
Especially if they were cock-a-hoot, where you were like, and then, hello darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, one of the really good features of the grand final was the lack of refereeing. Adam G.
He wasn't even there, was he? Nothing.
It was like he forgot his whistle or something. It was like, okay, no, just play on, guys. He let them play, and play they did. It almost begs the question. We'll go around all of you boys. I know everyone hasn't quite seen full footage, but that's all right. But Isaac, you see it in the big games, State of Origin, grand finals. Often the referees, they come out obviously with a directive, let them play. Should they do that more throughout the season?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That is. I mean, on the biggest stage, you don't want it to be a penalty fest. I mean, we've seen it all before in rugby union games, big games, where the ref becomes the star and it just, ruins a titanic battle. But throughout the rest of the season, that's a pretty tough call. I'm going to say nah. I mean, maybe performances like that need to be held for the big stage. And I know there needs to be consistency in reffing, but I don't know if you'd look at it the same way if you saw it across the whole season, refed like that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't look upon it favourably if it was the whole season.
Reminds me of their forward pass. Let them play. For the let them play.
Let the children play.
It's not NFL. Let them play.
What are your thoughts, bro, across a bit more of the season, having a bit more or a bit less of a good thing?
Oh, man. I was like, yes, the game flowed and it looked good, but there was hip drops, there was fucking high shots, there was forward passes, there was holding down. And look, I know the argument they say is that better teams cheat less or not cheat less, but
cheat better.
Get away with more. They cheat better. And they're smart and cheat better. So there's an argument for that. But look, either you let it go or you blow it up. Whatever you do, you just do the same thing every fucking week. You don't just do, this week and then that week and then that week and then we change to this as well. So I don't mind. But it was good to see the game flow. But to be fair, like fucking what Cleary got hit dropped and has fucked his knee now as well. But the public, most people, the fans, they loved it. And he wasn't there, eh? He didn't blow the whistle one bit.
Yep, and that's another thing really to factor in with the whole Cleary thing. Like, he lost Luai, he lost Yo for a little while there. He had one leg, and
to
then
be fair, to be fair, like Cogger made a massive difference, though, I think. And I don't, and that sounds most controversial, but I don't think maybe they get the job done if Luai's bouncing around, because I think Cogger just played a nice supporting role rather than Luai has a tendency to try to do shit himself, eh?
Yeah.
And they just and Nathan just needed to take the team on his back.
He was like the Christian Bale in The Dark Knight, right? Just letting Nathan go and be the Joker, do what he wants. Now, any more chat around the grand final before we move on to other things?
No, we'll be there next year.
Yes. I love that. Saw a bunch of Warriors fans there as well. Photos. And, one group was out there, had a big bloody stretch limo and that. They were having a big old party. I was like, oh, bro, that looks awesome.
I do want to bring it just back. If the Warriors got into the final, I just wonder if they would have kept the same refereeing style. I'm just wondering.
I don't think so.
Forward passes would have definitely been.
Because imagine, the Warriors.
Oh, yeah, there were heaps of forward passes.
Yeah, so I just wonder if it was the Warriors, would they have done the same?
Yeah. They would have pulled out the forward pass from last year. Would have been last year's prelim final. Oh, actually, I got to check the forward pass from last year.
RTS, you got caught drinking. No, don't.
Yeah.
That's right. Get penalised
True.
if you take the park. Now, looking ahead to 2024, which is going to be our year, we've made a couple of changes. Of course, Justin Morgan is headed out. Justin Morgan gone, Richie Morgan staying with Warrior Nation. Just to be clear, from previous episode, got a little bit tangled up there, and the name Richie got thrown in there. It was like, no, Justin Morgan going, Richie back. So cool. Now, to replace Justin Morgan is Slade Griffin, who was the New South Wales Cup coach this year. Got his team to the prelim final as well. So hell of an effort. Also, couldn't help but feel, looking at the bunnies carving up on grand final day as well. Man, I kind of thought we weren't actually that far away from that sort of getting to that point. So the challenge is sort of laid for next year. Obviously, they'll be a year wiser. A few of the guys coming back. And a new coach as well coming in, David Tangata Toa, who's from this year is from the Bulldogs. So he was coaching their New South Wales Cup team. Really nice guy too. Actually had a chat to him and commentating one of their games earlier in the year. So really happy that he's got the job. Also a guy who's had a lot of good experience as well, coaching around the place. He's coached with the Tongan team. Also done a bit of coaching around like Queensland, the Cowboys. He's been around a few different places. So there we go. There's some exciting times ahead, I reckon, for the top team and also for the New South Wales Cup team as well as the extra pathways that are coming in next year. We're going to have SG Ball, Harold Matthews Cup, which is the under 16, 17s, and then Jersey Flag under 21. So it's going to be a heck of a year. It's kind of, if you thought this year was big, my goodness. Now, Isaac, we're going to have a look at a few player reviews, and we'll start with you, bro. I still can't really help but look at those fish behind you. It's the eyes. They just draw me in.
Got the same lip cell.
It's actually not bad.
Not bad.
You just have to put a little dot on top of your head, Isaac, a little like pom pom.
Put the hood on.
Almost matching your hoodie too.
Put the hood on. There you go.
There we go.
That's how I felt after the Brisbane game, the Brisbane Warriors game.
No, fair. Yep, absolutely fair. Now, in terms of the Warriors 2023 season, which player did you think showed the most growth?
Growth. I'm going to be a bit controversial here and back my boy Adam Pompey.
Oh.
I mean, if you think about it, he was a fringe player. I mean, he had a bit of first grade experience, but for him to, go against the naysayers and cement a spot at that centre position, and again for all the hate that he got, I really think he grew. Even I managed to look past some of his failings and really start to support him, which is, in my opinion, a big sign of growth if I'm supporting the dude. So yeah, for me, Adam Pompey, I think really grew as a player. It's just a shame that RTS is arguably going to be stepping into his spot next year. But hey, look, if it was the NFL, he just got his dollars up. You know, if he was to walk somewhere else, he might walk into a bit of a payday. But yeah, I think Adam Pompey, in terms of growth throughout the season, yeah.
Yeah, I can really see that, actually, to be fair. Now, Monitor, who is your player who's shown the most growth?
The most growth. Probably Rocco Berry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't expect him, to be honest with you, to make it into the starting team at the beginning of the year. But then he's almost becoming almost like a Simon Mannering in some ways in regards to the way he plays in my mind and when he was in the centres. So, yeah, he's pretty solid on D. He's really good on D. And he's starting to really improve on attack. And I think he'll be part of the starting lineup for next year. But yeah, I think in terms of growth, I think he's grown quite a bit from being not considered as part of the starting 13 to now being a regular. But I think he's in for some competition next year. I think there's a lot of competition in centres next year. With R2 and Pompey and RTS, arguably. So you've got 4 top centres, which is good.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I actually would 100% back you to have said your man crush, Jackson Ford. But
well, when you talk about growth, I think I was thinking from someone who hasn't, you know, I still love Jackson Ford. I was going to say DWZ, but for someone that has, I was considering, oh no, he's not going to make it. The growth that he's had under Webster again, it's been good. So yeah,
nice. Buddha, who's your grower?
Grower or shower? Grower.
Are you going to bring up your black microphone?
Yeah. Who's got the most growth?
People, keep this PG, not PG.
The most girth. I mean growth.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I had Rocco Berry too, for exactly what Manetta said. I just thought, you know, came from outside the squad and cemented his role in the team midway through the season. Yeah, started to flourish. But also then back that up with Jackson Ford too. I mean, I think growth as in came here for an opportunity, but pretty early on just established in the kind of Webby style of what he wanted to do, and it was super reliable. And, you know, I've said it about 1,000 times, and I think Richie Agar told us, you know, he said, you know, his first carry is as good as his last carry in minute 79. I just typified kind of our new way of playing. So, but yeah, all mentioned, 100% have been good growth seasons.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to actually honourable mention for Sean Johnson, who, I mean, it's kind of more regrowth, but from where he was at the end of last year and people were really questioning, you know, what he was going to do, and he came out and did what he did. My goodness. Yeah, he gets my nod. Isaac, who has been your most surprising player this year?
That would be SJ, because I didn't expect him to have the year that he had. I expected him to bounce back. Regrowth. Regrowth. But not to the magnitude that he did. Like, we all knew how good a player he was, and how much gas left he had in the tank. We weren't too sure about. For him to be operating at 110% basically throughout the whole season, biggest surprise for me was him. And just a blessed surprise to have.
Blessed, I like it. Moneta, your surpriser.
I mean, the obvious one's Sean Johnson, but I'll back it up with DWZ. So for me, you know, you hear Kossi, he was like, I thought, okay, he's playing pretty well up until that injury. And I've always been a bit cognizant of DWZ on defense, but man, he stepped up this year. And again, good old Webster is, you know, again, he's just brought up the best in his players, and that includes DWZ. And just the way he kind of scores those tries, those impossible tries that I don't think a lot of wingers could do. Yeah, he's had a brilliant season. The only thing is, this is defense slightly. If he could just improve on that just a little bit But yeah, his attacking has been great. So, yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a meltdown at the end there. That's all good. Across the season, I can definitely see your point. Buddha, who was your most surprising player of 2023?
Yeah, I just probably got a couple that kind of come in a bit of a package deal, but more so from we weren't sure what we would get when they came over. So we had Dylan Walker, Buns of Steel.
Of course, that one.
And Mitchie Barnett. I think just more from, look, we know they were proven NRL quality players, first grade players. Probably didn't have this huge impact they had in their own teams previously. You know, I mean, Dylan Walker obviously has played for Australia and he's represented at the highest level. But the surprising impact they had to the team, coming in, Dylan's role and then his versatility, and then Mitchie Barnett, I think we probably knew had a hard edge when he forearmed that guy in the head last year and got about 8 weeks off. But actually what he bought, the steel he bought and the engine he had as well, just to kind of also kind of keep that kind of pairing with AFB, was a nice surprise. You'd get an effort, but I think they became pretty integral to us, to our team as well. So I've got those lads.
Yeah, I'll go Jackson Ford. I thought he was going to be New South Wales Cup. And he didn't play there all year. He was in the top team the whole time. Who was your, I won't say disappointing, the player you're most disappointed in this year? We're gonna balance up the positives with the negatives here. Isaac.
I don't want to say disappointing. It's probably too harsh of a word, but maybe underwhelming was probably to Murray Martin. To a number of factors. Injury robbed him a good chunk of the season, and then he had to be kind of, I don't want to say rushed back into the team. Well, he was when Metcalf got injured, and he didn't really offer too much an attack. I can't help but feel that Metcalf offered a little bit more something different. I know Tamari Martin's an amazing support player. He's good defender, but I can't help but feel that Metcalf gives us a little bit of X factor. And I was kind of just wanting a little bit more from Tamara. So, yeah, a little bit underwhelming from him. Yeah.
Yeah, fair. Moneta.
Shit. That I was gonna say the same. Because I was, when Metcalf got injured, like, okay, here we go. And I thought he got his cobwebs out in the first game. And then the second game, I was like, okay, he's just getting the hang of it. And then third, I was like, oof. Yeah, I think it was just that we're just missing that attack, that the Broncos seem to have that exit factor. And, it was just, I guess I was just a bit, so it's on some long lines as saucy, but I was a bit underwhelmed. I was hoping they had to step up, but I was a bit, we need a bit more X factor. So,
Yep. Daniel?
I'm going to say, and this is more for, I felt he would have been disappointed with the season. And that's the way it went. And he's my favourite, actually one of my favourite players. But I think Jazz just had just too many key injuries, big injuries. And look, that's just unfortunate, which just mean he just couldn't quite get going. When he did get going, when he came back after the first few rounds, he started the Ball Brothers. We saw the best of Jazz, but then obviously the big injury with the Storm, which took a long time to come back in as well. So I think more so, not disappointed everyone, but more so he would have felt disappointed by the season to not be able to contribute as much, because he's probably the player that has, we all know, has been, heart and soul in the club as well. And he'd probably just be gutted that he didn't get to contribute as much as he has been doing in previous years, because he's been the one that's been putting in the effort.
Yeah, absolutely. Isaac?
Sorry, I've got my hand up. I'd like to change my answer, actually.
Oh.
Because I reckon he's a really big question mark about what we do with him in the future. It's Bunty Afoa. I mean...
Oh, yeah.
We can't have... I just don't feel like we can have him play 20 minutes to absorb the front end of a game and then not offer anything for the rest of it. As much as we love Bunty and what he's contributed to the club, either Webster's going to need to get more out of him, or we're going to have to look elsewhere for another prop or look for some other talent, because I feel like that's just a bench spot wasted if we're having him on there. I mean, at the end of the season, he wasn't on that best 17 rotation, but what do you do with them?
Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to go with Viliami Vailea. I thought at the end of last year he was going to be a star, and even in the preseason he looked the goods, and just now he's on his way over to the Cowboys. So tough year. Things are tough in the NRL. It's not certainly not an easy thing. If we were to go for one prediction for next year, just anything you want to throw out there. I'll start with you, Monitor. Give us one. Just chuck anything up and we'll see what sticks.
Jesus. One prediction. That's a hard one. RTS will make it into the starting 13 in centre, replacing, I dare say it, even though I've been back in Pompey, my boy, Pompey.
Okay, yep, put it.
Ali Kumbaya. He's primed to come in, and the rebirth of Ali Mark II, right?
He'll be a
Tower.
superstar. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So next year could be a breakout season for him. Obviously a lot of factors. He's got to learn a lot about first grade and all the rest. But, if they can manage him kind of like the Rocco and they can bring him in second half of the year perhaps, but just get him playing. I watched that game against the Raiders, that final. They played a few weeks ago, and he was just tossing blokes around. It was literally men versus boys, and it was amazing. So hopefully, and we talk about X Factor. You look at the Tony Staggs of the world, even Herbie. They had great season. They had great games. Isaac Tangor. No disrespect to our guys, but I think if we look at how we get better, we need to look at the athletes that we have, and man, that guy's a freak.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
If you combine Moneta's prediction with Buddha's one, that's my one. I'm going to say those boys are going to be our left edge. I'm going to have RTS left wing and Ali left centre. That's my.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's my. I'm just going to throw that one in.
Montoya actually. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That was going to be my point.
I love my boy Monty. Oh, Isaac, have I stolen your thunder?
No, it was pretty much along. Well, yeah, but yeah, it was along the same lines. I don't think Monty's going to be on the wing. I think it'll be either RTS or. Well, I think it's going to be RTS, some sort of combination between RTS and Ali. I was kind of thinking maybe start Ali on the wing and bring him closer in once he's got more first grade experience, and what better guy to learn from than RTS. Ali's just got X Factor. In our team, that's arguably one of the things that's one of the missing ingredients from the team is a bit more X Factor. So I think Ali playing on the wing could be just as damaging as at centre. And who better to feed him the ball than a seasoned professional like RTS? So yeah, it'll be either Ali or Ed Cossey on the wing. I think Montoya, as much as we really love him, there's just too much talent that's waiting in the wings. That offers, like what it was saying, that Stags, Farnworth level type X Factor to just leave in New South Wales Cup. Otherwise, that New South Wales Cup team's going to be fucking stacked.
Absolutely. It's probably going to be anyway. Can you imagine Ali offloading to RTS? What kind of damage you could do with that combo? Anyways, we've got about 6 minutes to go.
You're excited for 2020.
Well, that's the whole point of the episode, I suppose. We've got 6 minutes left. We were supposed to do a bit of a Warriors rap with Buddha. And that was probably going to take a bit longer than 6 minutes, but can you combine anything into about 4 minutes there, Buddha?
Yeah, I can. So if we look at the season, we break it down into just 4 chunks. So I think fair to say, us fans, we didn't know what to expect, really. We had aspirations for top 8. We just wanted to start well. We managed to do that. We got off to a good start. We faced some tough teams early on in the first few rounds, back then, like the Chooks as well. But we actually, I think for me, we came of age when we played the Cowboys away, who were, top contender, and we actually stuck it to them, and we went, wow, we've got a team here. Then we we had probably there's probably 3 or 4 games of the season, and we all know the Sharks game away was, absolute highlight of the season. So that first block of games, I think we were all pretty happy, with what we'd seen and how the team had travelled. Next blocker was around 8 to 14, which was a real tough period. We knew we had some big games. We had the Chooks again. Well, we had the Storm as well, which was, agonisingly close to getting the monkey off the back as well. It was a fantastic game, but we just ran out of steam at the end. Talk about the Chooks, frustrating. We got dominated in the wet and actually figured out that wet weather footy doesn't quite suit this team as it is. Went to Magic Round, 30 odd degrees, plenty of support, and we went toe to toe with the Premiers actually. And looking back at that, I think for me it was like, shit, we've got a team here, that can grind and against the best. So I thought, despite the loss, I thought, hey, it's through a tough period. We got the chocolates against the Dogs. And then one of the most disappointing games of the season was the Baby Broncos in Napier. Went and saw that live and basically just didn't turn up for the first 65, 70 minutes. Just thought they were 5 players short. Origin Stars would get it easy. We had a few troops down. But to be fair, we showed some resilience and come back, but it was a bit too late. So I think I was hoping that would be a lesson. And I think it proved right to be a lesson. You can't just expect to turn up as well. And then I got to see a game against the Dolphins, which was an awesome win because we had a tough kind of half, 40 minutes, and then we ground them down. We got to our ground and pound game. We moved into what I think was the period of the season where we started to really show what we were about as well. So we played one of the best games of the season, the Raiders away game. It was a very hard start, very tough game at the end, and then we just blew them away in the second 40, probably one of the most convincing halves of football we had all season. We absolutely pantsed the Dragons, which we just looked the goods, absolutely looked goods. We had a little blip against the Bunnies. It was another weather footy game, and I think a game where maybe, we didn't go through the middle enough, and we didn't respect that. And then we moved to a couple of convincing wins. So we had the Eels away, which I think, highlight of that game was a Warrior Nation chant through the TV. And I think everyone started to get on this feel like we've got a real team here. Yeah. Coincided with, I think, one of our most complete performances of the year when we absolutely dismantled the Sharks at home. I mean, everything clicked that day. It was a beautiful, beautiful afternoon of footy, and we put a big score on them. We got reminded by Ricky and his tricky Raiders that yes, we could dominate them, but shit, we were actually lucky to win that game. But we practiced the ability to get out of a sticky situation. Excuse the pun. And
a Ricky situation.
A Ricky one. We got the win. And then I think we went into this period of like, yes, we're going to make 8, but it started to grind out a little bit, and we just got into a position where we just got a couple of wins just to keep the wolf from the door. We landed the 8. Everyone was happy. And then we obviously got into finals. So finals showed that, unfortunately, there was a clash between kind of where we sat with the Storm and then where the Broncos and the Panthers were. But I think, the highlight of the season was the semi-final we had at home, qualifying final. Was huge. Great day, great performance. And look, ultimately just capped off a fantastic year. Yeah, we didn't get the game across the ditch at the Bronx, but I think everyone was pretty satisfied with where things finished up. So
yeah, nice.
Express
hell of a year.
Yes, hell of a year, and like a massive tick. Amazing.
Yeah. And we're out of time.
I was like, there's not going to be for this.
Before we go, Monitor, you probably may need to bounce off first, potentially. What's been, if you were to pick one of your favourite moments from the Warriors Anonymous podcast season, bro, what would you go with?
the surprise was when we were interviewing Richard Barnett, and so he brought his wife, and I can't remember
Karen,
her
yeah.
name. Yeah, and they actually, it was a bit heartfelt, some of the things they were talking about. So that was a bit of a pleasant surprise in how long we spoke for. So, and it was good to get it from the legend himself. And McIver always surprises me.
McIver. Isaac, what was your one moment, moment or moments from the podcast season?
I think, probably right up there for me was the Richie Barnett interview, just because it was just really in-depth and I didn't expect him to be so open, especially with his wife, and it's not something I'd experienced in an interview before, so that was just really good. And then probably the biggest, most memorable thing about this season for the Warriors Anonymous is how we haven't had to gas bag and try to make something good out of, try to turn a turd into a diamond after the past 2 seasons where we've had to try and make something out of nothing after losing so many games, and just being part of being along for the ride of the Warriors, this year, because it's been fucking awesome. It's just been so huge, just the momentum and the public sort of backing that the Warriors have got now. They've turned into something else. The Warriors club now have turned into something bigger than the Warriors. So it's great to be a part of that.
Transformational. I like it.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah, man. Highlight was probably when we got the start of the season, got into the YouTube mode as well, which is a very different new experience for us all as well. And I mean, I loved the Freddie Lussick line of "Got you rattled, Monita." It was just
That was gold.
Yeah,
was good.
I remember that.
What a legend. And then just from what the boys have said, we've slogged our guts out season after season, through the COVID years, finding ways to keep the belief and the hope and the positivity through some dark times. And I felt we just got repaid. Each week we could win or lose, we had a performance, and I think everyone can be proud of how the boys went.
We just wanted to love again. Really, that was about it.
No,
I wanna know what love is.
How about you? What was your favourite moment?
Oh, mate, I want to go with probably the thing that's transformed our sort of brand awareness and whatnot. Transformative. Up the Wires. The song.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. Sorry.
Our listens went from to it was like, wow, this is crazy. But hell of a year, as you boys say. It's just been, I guess, Up the Wires wouldn't have worked if it wasn't for how the season was going. So, kind of just, needed to kind of capture the lightning in the bottle. And in a sense, we possibly did. So, boys, it's been a hell of a year. I'm going to rattle through a few quick thank yous as well before we go, because I missed out a few last week, and I was a bit filthy on myself for leaving some people out. So I'm probably going to leave some more people out this week, so sorry if I have. Anyways, producer Matt, the man for saving us every week. Greg Spence for the expense accounts, of course. Thank you for your input. Res Makiha over at Warriors Uncut. And also Richie Morgan at Warrior Nation. Both those boys instrumental in circulating Up the Wires and getting it to go viral. Raz said to me, he goes, I'm going to get this thing to go viral. And I was like, sweet, bro, all good. And he did. Ruin Hammer, met them at the Magic Round. Boys, awesome guys. Great to meet them, and we'll definitely catch up again next year as well. From SENZ, Sam Hewitt, Logan Swinkles, all the team over there, done some awesome things. Nick Manarangi from Warriors Fans TV, man, just blown up. What an awesome year you've had. As has the Warrior Holic, man. He's been just absolutely charging this year. This week. Man, oh man. So yeah, he's done a great year. Congrats, Zane, to what's been going on. Brad Inger, also great year from you. Hold the Ball. I actually met Hold the Ball up at Magic Round, and I said, bro, I want to get you on the podcast, and so far I haven't, so I'm really sorry. But we will. We promise. Also, Christian Catley, Warriors NRL Fanatics. Of course, he had us on his page a couple of times, so that was awesome. As well as run down to Stephen McIver, Nick Brown, Freddie Lussick. These are all our guests. Richie Agar, Tanner Stowers-Smith, Richie and Kerry Barnett, Haitru Okesene. Thank you guys for joining us and giving us such an awesome season. And just, our Warriors Anonymous members, really, thank you so much for your support this year. And man, I reckon next year's going to be something special because I feel like we've got some. I feel like as a team, the Warriors have got something up their sleeve, and I feel like us as a podcast as well, we're going to have a few things that we're going to be bringing out, which I think everyone's going to like. So we'll see you in 2024. Stay safe. Up the wires. Check us out on Facebook, Insta, Twitter, X. Threads. We're on Threads. TikTok. Subscribe and follow on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. We will. We'll just keep fighting the good fight until we get to that grand final. Hopefully next year. Next year's our year, boys. I reckon.
I feel like this year was already our year, so
it kind of was.
It was a good year.
Yeah.
Great year.
So I think we're on to something special. On behalf of Isaac Sauce, thank you, bro. Thank you for joining us with your depressed fish. Good to have you back, man. We'll see you next year. Monita Sauce, keep eating the canned chicken.
Don't eat it.
Also, Daniel Whatakura, we need to try and see if we can get you and all the lads over to Magic Round or something next year because that'd be awesome. Likewise, I'll try and see if I can get back to some more New Zealand-based games as well.
Oh, yeah, can't wait.
That'd be mad. So, thanks very much for tuning in. My name is Jared Cronin. We love you guys. Up the vase. Up the vase. Go the Warriors in 2024 because that's our year.
Zavaz.
Get precious.